I'm John Castillo. Let's do some math. In the last video, even and odd exponents, we looked at the effect of even and odd exponents on the negative number unit. In this one, I'd like to look at the effects on negative numbers more generally. So we have here negative 2 squared. We can rewrite this as negative 1 times 2 squared, which is just negative 1 times 4, or negative 4. Next we have negative 2 quantity squared, which is negative 1 times 2 quantity squared, which is equal to, by the product rule, negative 1 squared times 2 squared, which is negative number raised to an even power is going to be a positive 1 times 4, which is just 4. Next we have the negative of negative 2 quantity squared, which is just the negative of this one. So that's negative 1 times the result from before, which is that. Now let's look at some general situations here where we have a general even power. Negative 2 to the 2n. Negative 2 to the 2n is equal to negative 1 times 2 to the 2n. But how much is 2 to the 2n? That's equal to negative 1 times 2 to the 2 to the n. But 2 squared is 4, and that's being raised to the n. So we have negative 4 to the n as the result. Let's look at the next one. The quantity negative 2 to the 2n. Now this is negative 1 times 2 to the 2n, which we can rewrite using the product rule again, negative 1 to the 2n times 2 to the 2n. Now, this 2n is an even number. A negative number raised to an even number is always going to be a positive number. And then we saw from the previous example, 2 to the 2n is 4 to the n, so times 4 to the n, so that's just, again, 4 to the n. Let's look at the last situation here. Negative of negative 2 to the 2n. Now, what is that? That's negative 1 times negative 2 to the 2n. But we saw in the last one that negative 2 to the 2n is 4 to the n. So that's negative 1 times 4 to the n, or just negative 4 to the n. I want to compare these with the even versions, the odd versions of these examples. So negative 2 cubed, negative 2 cubed, negative of negative 2 cubed, negative 2 to the 2n plus 1, negative 2 to the 2n plus 1, and the negative of negative 2 to the 2n plus 1. Okay, so the first one, we have negative 2 cubed. That's equal to negative 1 times 2 cubed. 2 cubed is 8, so this is negative 1 times 8, or negative 8. Negative 2 quantity cubed, negative 2 like that, is equal to negative 1 No, let me rewrite it this way. Negative 1 times 2 quantity cubed. And that's by the product rule again, negative 1 cubed times 2 cubed. We saw last time that a negative number raised to an odd power is negative. So that's negative 1 times 2 cubed is 8, and that's a negative 8. The negative of negative 2 cubed, which is the negative 1 times negative 2 cubed. But we saw just now that negative 2 cubed is negative 8. So this is equal to negative 1 times negative 8, which is positive 8, which is 8. We're going to look at the general odd power now. Negative 2 to the 2n plus 1. We can rewrite that as negative 1 times 2 to the 2n plus 1, which is negative 1 times 2 to the 2n times 2 to the 1 using the product rule. Now, we saw before, well, we saw it, but let's do it again. Negative 1, this is 2 to the 2n. 2 to the 2n is equal to 2 squared to the n. 2 squared is 4, and 4, so we have 4 to the n. Let me write that down here. 2 to the 2n is equal to 4 to the n. Let me just rewrite that in a second. So we have negative 1 times 2 to the 2n times 2 to the 1. And we have negative 1. 2 to the 2n is 4 to the n times 2. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 times 4 to the n. Negative 2 times 4 to the n. What about the quantity of negative 2 raised to the 2n plus 1? Negative 2 to the 2n plus 1 is equal to negative 1 times 2 to the 2n plus 1. By the product rule again, we have negative 1 to the 2n plus 1 times 2 to the 2n plus 1. As we saw last time, a negative unit raised to an odd power is going to be a negative number. So negative 1 times 2 to the 2n plus 1. How much is 2n to the 2n plus 1? Well, let's do a side thing here. 2 to the 2n plus 1 is equal to 2 to the 2n times 2, right? 2 to the 1. 2 to the 2n is 4 to the n, so this is 2 times 4 to the n. So we have here times 4, 2 times 4 to the n. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2, so that's negative 2 times 4 to the n. Negative 2 times 4 to the n. Then we're going to look at the last situation here. The negative of the quantity negative 2 raised to the 2n plus 1. Negative 2 to the 2n plus 1. Well, we just saw that negative 2 raised to the 2n plus 1 is equal to negative 2 times 4 to the n. This is equal to negative 1 times negative 2 to the 2n plus 1. So from here, we know that this is negative 2 times 4 to the n. negative 2 times 4 to the n. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. So negative, well, we finished. All of this and more is covered in the new pre-algebra workbook series that's linked to in the description. Thank you for watching.